Testing. Hey everyone, welcome to the Bitcoin video this evening. This is, it's about 9:40 p.m. Eastern time. We've got a good daily close on Bitcoin. We've got lots of really bullish stuff going on the market. I want to talk about that. We got a lot to talk about here. I'm going to try and keep it brief though. Before I get into any of this, of course, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, manage your own risk, doing your own research, and I'm just giving my opinion on the market. So what I want to focus on, and I'm up for humoring any comments in the YouTube chat as well. So as I'm going through this, if you have any questions, I will do my best to keep an eye on the YouTube chat. If there's any questions or comments or anything of the like, let me know. I'll be here for the next 19 minutes. I'll be cutting myself off here right at 10 o'clock. But let's go ahead and take a look at the chart. And of course, if you are not part of our Discord server, just throw in a comment in the chat and I'll be more than happy to get an invite code out to you. So let's look at things here. Gosh, so much has gone on, but I want to focus on something here. I'm on a weekly chart, okay? And I know this is only Monday. This is only Monday. So we've got some time, but we're still looking kind of low on volume. We still have a long way to go, but I mean, you look at these volume candles. Whenever we have a high volume candle, it tends to be good selling pressure, okay? So we're still maintaining that, going all the way back here to November of 2018. But look at this, okay? So we had a good volume candle, and I'm looking at Bitcoin on Coinbase. All right. Let me just look at this. On this particular candle, there was 231,000 Bitcoin that was transacted during that week, and we had about a 29.2% drop. Let's take a look at this very high volume candle. This was our blow off top. Okay. We had 299,000 Bitcoin transacted in that particular candle. That was our blow off top. Okay. So you can look at this as capitulation. You could take a look at this as a blow off top, or in other words, also can be seen as the reverse capitulation. Blow off top means you've got a bit of a short squeeze. So we had, we had our long squeeze, we had short squeeze, and then here we are again. We had a long squeeze. There was 377,000 Bitcoin transacted in that candle. But look at this. We barely have any volume on this. Hey Wayne, hey Daniel, good to see you guys on here. Low volume. All right, now again, guys, I realize this is Monday. We are literally 2 days into this. I am not interested in opening any leveraged positions right now. Honestly, I barely have any skin in the game at this point, just because I now am not sure if this is going to continue moving up or if we are if we're done. So one thing I do want to point out is, so I had been talking about 11,500 for quite some time, and I'm going to have to pull this out here. I'm going to pull my fib retrace and go from right down here all the way to the bottom, all the way up here to the top. So this target right here is sitting here at 13,200. That's going to be my new target if this is going to be what happens. So let's just take a look at this. I'm going to go down to, let's say we move ourselves to a 4-hour chart. And I'm hoping that you guys can see this all okay. I mean, this is just absolutely crazy. Look at the volume that we've had just in this short time frame. Looking at 4-hour time frames, we had a decent amount, actually more volume on this spike up. So this one, on this 4-hour candle, we had 15,200 Bitcoin transacted. On this one right here, we had 11,000, and then we had 14,000 Bitcoin transacted. I would expect we're probably going to be seeing a significant pullback, but I still think that we are in short squeeze mode. I do believe that we are, and I'm going to talk about that here in just a minute. So Todd's asking the question, do I think we will fill in the liquidity gaps below? I assume what you are making reference to is the CME charts, which I will pull up here in just a little bit. I want everybody to realize as we're talking about this, that CME expires on Friday. There is a major expiration on CME on Friday, which, historically has been when we see major moves on Bitcoin, either right before or right after CME expirations. We saw that in June of last year, right, when we had our 13,000 top. So that was back here. We had CME expiring at the end of June. So this was June 26th. I could go back and see when CME actually expired and rolled over, but I believe it was somewhere in that range. So let me just take a look here, just for fun here. Let's see here. June 26th was a Wednesday. That correlates to what we are looking at, what we're looking at right now. So it correlates to what we're looking at right now, because we've got the end of the month that is 2 days away, and our not our capitulation, but our blow off top was 2 days away from the end of the month back in June of 2019. Okay, and then what did we see after that? I think what's more important is what we saw after that. Okay, we saw a sharp pullback. So expiration would be not on the 27th, but the 29th. And so right here we had, a little bit of a pullback, we had some chop, we had a little bit of a push up, and then we had basically a long, a long way down from there. So what do I think is going to happen here? I do think that that we will fill in the liquidity gaps below. I think it is likely to happen here. So we've talked about volume, so I'm going to remove volume from this. And what I want to focus on here is what our count is, because throughout this entire move, I had been saying this over and over and over. I was never really happy with this, and what I'm never really happy with is this right here. I was never really happy with the count there, and you guys all know this. If you've been watching me for any amount of time, you know that I have been, really not happy with the count for this particular move down here. Okay, well, one, we had all kinds of BitMEX stuff that was causing issues. But let's go ahead and take a look as we see our move. I'm going to say our move up to this guy right here, up to this top here when we first touched 10,000. All right, so I'm going to do a brand new count here based on what I think I now see based on the current price action. So we've got a nice A, B, C up here. Okay, so this is good. Now let's take a look at our correction. We've got a nice A, B, C right here on a lower degree. Okay, an alternate for this would be that we had a little bit of a wedge here. So let's do this as an alternate, where we have an A, B, C, D, E. That is an alternate. I'm going to color this just a little bit differently because this is an alternate. I guess it's all really water under the bridge at this point, but that's possible what we see here. All right. So if this is an A, a larger A, here, let's pull this in here. So we've got from down here, we have an A and then a B. I'm just going to put the B here, thinking it's either going to be here or it's going to be here. I guess it doesn't really matter too much. B, and then we go up for our C up here at about 10K. So let's measure this. Okay, let's just measure this and see if this makes technical sense. So we're going to measure from our dominant pivot low, which is going to be right there, to our dominant pivot high, which is going to be right there, and let's do our pullback. All right, so if we pull back here, we're kind of close, but if we pull back up here, well, then what do we have? Actually, I'm going to pull from this guy right here. We did almost get to the 100% up here. So we've got A, B, C, and then we have a correction, and then we have this move up here. It didn't quite get to 100%. It did pass the 618, and then we reclaimed that 618 as support, and actually that ended up being support for quite some time. So this is at about 8,400. Yes, dips are for buys if you're holding long term. I would generally agree with that. Got to see where the monthly will close, and yeah, we are definitely in for a ride. Volatility has returned. We knew that volatility was coming. That is for sure. But anyway, what we have here is a larger ABC, right? So we can complete this. Um, this works itself out pretty good. From here, from this C, what I can see here is, let me move this on a higher degree again. Let's move this up here. And from there, we've got our A, B, and then a pullback to our low, which was right here. All right, so this is going to be on, again, a lower degree. It's not pretty, but it does support this last move up here, which I don't think is done. I have a feeling that this move is not complete. I mean, we're sitting up here. I mean, if we're being honest with each other, let's take a look at the daily really quick here. If we're being honest with each other, this candle that we just had yesterday, it was an 11% candle, which is not significant, but let's take a look back at April. This candle back here, this was an 18% candle in one day back on April 2nd of 2019. It started a significant move to the upside. But if we're looking at this, I have to think this move is not done. We are breaking above serious resistance levels. Okay, over and over we have broken above major resistance levels. Okay, so I think what we're working on here is, is probably a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to go for a 5. So this is what I think is going to happen on a lower degree. Let's move back to a 4-hour time frame. This is what I think we're going to be looking at here. All right, so from this low, I believe we're going to have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we've talked about this, but what I think this is just setting us up for is a 1, A, B, C into the 2, and this is our 3. We're going to come down for a 4. I don't know if it's going to come down this low. I have a feeling 11,000 is going to be pretty darn strong, and then we're going to go up for a 5. Okay, let's measure this. Let's measure this and see what we've got. If we measure from the bottom of this 2, which is going to be right there, I'm going to try and tag that as well as I can. We go up for the 3. All right, I don't think we come down to the 382. I tend to believe we're probably going to stop at the 236, which is going to be at 10,800. Maybe we come down to 10,800. I think it's going to take time, right? We've had a good markup period. Probably is going to come down here to the 236. And then we're going to go up for the 5, which is going to be setting up for a target at about 12,000. Okay, 12,000. That's going to be my target for this move. Okay, now when I say this move, let me just kind of squish things down a little bit here. All right, so we know that we've got A, B, C completed there. We have a nice 5-wave diagonal. We have an ABC into here, and then I'm basically counting this as an extended 5th. It's possible this is just the 3rd, and we actually have higher to go. One way or another, I do think we do see higher prices. I would be a buyer at this point at about 10.8 if we happen to get there. Okay, if we don't get there, then that's fine. I think 11K support. We'll wait and see. Now, once we complete that move, again, I don't think that's it. I don't think that is it, because again, we're talking about the beginning of a move here. We're talking about the beginning of a move. So assuming this is our first move up here, our first move, we have a correction, and you could even call this, an A, B, C, D, E. You could probably work that out. I'm not a real big fan of that. I think this is an A, B, and then kind of a truncation on the C here. And then we've got a 1, and again, this is going to be on a higher degree, so that we just make that work itself out. I'm going to give it a little bit of different color just for clarity. Pull that up there. All right, so we've got 1 good ABC into the 2, and then we're working on the 3 still. 4, 5. what that's going to end up being, again, we're still corrective, okay? We're still corrective here, but I still think we end up going higher. So that's a 5. We're probably going to come back for 3, and then we're going to go up for 5 more, assuming we stop at 12,000. Okay, let's just say we stop at 12K. Go from there, maybe 12.1. Probably are going to work our way back here to 10.3 to 10.7, somewhere between the 50 and the 382, and then we're going to work our way up to 13,000. You know, we are in a pretty important price discovery phase on Bitcoin. One thing that I will say, and I've seen other people pointing this out, is the fact that we've had like this massive inverted head and shoulders on Bitcoin, and it's starting to work itself out. So what I will point out here, I'm going to pull out my parallel channel tool. I'm going to go down here to the bottom, right there. I'm going to have to fix that. And I'm going to come up here. Then I'm going to go all the way up to this guy right there, and then I'm going to fix this. Okay, so let me just now pull this guy down and back. I'm going to pull this guy up. Okay, so we're hitting the median, right? So we hit the median here, we hit the median here, we're hitting the median now. Okay, if we close above this, and I think we will, I think it will take time, we're going to start to see remnants of a different type of a fork here. And what's going to end up happening, I believe, okay, I believe this is probably what's going to happen. Let's take trend line right off of this guy right here, because this is pretty much what we are going to be seeing. I think probably what's going to end up happening is we're going to take our polyline tool, and then from the top, we're going to see an A, B, C, and then we're going to see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be our bullish case to see ourselves going higher even. Watching this little zone here, this diagonal zone, is pretty important, but the fact that we've got a major valley here, an even bigger valley here, and now we're seeing a little bit of a valley working itself up following this horizontal, not horizontal, this diagonal support, I think leads to the possibility, strong possibility, that we are going to see higher prices compared to even where we are right now. You know, I've got my opinions on this. You know, I hope that this is helping me articulate what my thoughts are on the market right now. We probably will pull back down below 11,000 in the next day or two. But it would not surprise me one bit on Wednesday. Okay, this is going to be my prediction. On Wednesday, we will have seen this pullback below 11K, and we're probably going to skyrocket up to 12 or 12.8. Now, I will adapt to the market. You know, I'm just going to be completely upfront and honest with everybody here that I got stopped out 3 times trying to short this week because, you know, we moved up, we moved up, we moved up. We were hitting some of my bearish levels, right? So we were talking about that a lot last week. We hit these levels, and you know, foolishly, I was trying to, you know, trying to short, and what I should have done is I should have waited, obviously, right? Hindsight's 20/20. But nonetheless, I think this is now a 1, 2, 3. Where we're working on the 4 now, and then we're going to go in for the 5. And whether the 5 stops at 12,000, whether the 5 stops even higher, that remains to be seen. When we're looking at this, I'm going to remove all of this. I'm going to go back to a daily time frame. You know, when we're looking at this on a fib pull, okay, let's get it from the top. Try and get this as close as I can. All right, pull ourselves all the way down here to the bottom. So what we've got here, and I've reached my time, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up. We've hit the 786, but more than likely we're going to go up to the 887. The 887, which I like to put a nice color purple there, that's right at 12,000, right on the nose. Okay, the reason why I pulled this up on Coinbase is because it didn't have any of the crazy wicks that like BitMEX had. Very likely this is going to go up to 12K, and from there, that's going to be our new high probability area for a short. But buying at 11 and selling at 12 could likely work itself out. You're going to have to give yourself some time. This thing is very, very possible. Very possible. How do I want to say this? It is very possible this comes back down to 10.5 to reclaim this as support. I tend to believe that it's going to be 10.8 that we're going to get to. We may not get to 10.5. Okay. Again, we can see the formation here on the daily. Let me zoom out, or rather zoom in on this. We can see what we were faced with here, right? We had compression on both sides, right? So this right here was pretty clean, and we broke up and we broke out of it. So where is the target for that? Okay, so to measure the target for a wedge breakout, all right. So this is information for you. We take the bottom, we take all the way up to the top, and we do the pullback, and we're looking for a 100% move from the breakout point. The 100% move was sitting right there at 11,100, and where did we stop at? We stopped at 11,420. The fact that we have busted above that a little bit does lead me to believe that we are going to, go higher. We're still looking for that 12,000. That 12,000 is going to be sitting out there. That is where there's likely going to be a lot of software sitting and waiting to sell. So just be careful for that. Now, if we happen to go there, all right, where are we going to correct to? That, my friends, that is the question. So we measure this guy right here. We pull back to 12K, and we still see high probability zone at 54.41, and we also see all the way back down 33.12, a double bottom on Bitcoin. Okay, that would take us all the way back down to this level right here if we happen to make our way back up to 12,000. It's hard for me to say that that's going to happen when everything looks as bullish as it does right now. And I guess what I'm trying not to get you guys to do, I'm trying not to get people to go crazy bullish and buy right now, because I do think it will pull back. I also don't want you guys to set blind asks at 12,000, because it's very possible this thing moves up. It is best for you as a trader, if you are a trader and not an investor, there's a huge difference between the two. If you're a trader, it's best for you to wait for the 12-hour to get back down into the neutral zone. Wait for the 12-hour to get back down below 75, okay? Of course, we've got everything way overbought right now, so it doesn't match my rules for buying. But guys, what I will say is when we are in an uptrend, every single time that we've got a buy signal on the waves indicator, it has worked out big time. Okay, we had a buy signal here, and then we had another one here, and then we've had this move up. Back here, we had a buy signal here, we had a little bit of a dip down below, and we had a nice move up. Okay, I see this over and over and over. Every time we have a nice move down where we come into, a good buy zone, we have a good rally up. It has just historically been a good buying indicator. What I have gotten stuck in is the sell part of it all. So I will work on that. I do consider myself an algorithmic trader and not a fundamental trader. I do tend to look at technicals quite a bit, and this is it's a learning experience for everybody. And I got hurt a little bit on the way up, but that's okay. I survived. That's what stop losses are for. Stop losses literally save you all the time. All right, so let's take a look at the comments, then we'll go ahead and wrap things up here. Banks are now approved, data can be shared, and we're making moves. Yes, when it comes to banks now being approved and all of that, I mean, it's just news. I don't tend to be a news trader, but I can see where you would come up with that. Let's see here. From the low to the high is simply a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can see why you would think that as well. So if we go to like a 4-hour time frame here and we zoom out, actually I'm probably going to want to go to maybe a 6-hour time frame just to make this a little easier to see. This wedge does look like a 4, right? This wedge looks almost like a textbook wave 4, and then we are working on the 5 right now. So I can definitely see where you're coming up with that. Just waiting for TradingView to catch up with me here. 3 to 4 is always messy, maybe so, but I can still see how you can count this out as a triangle there. So if that's the case, then this is a 1, ABC into the 2, then we've got a 3. So let's see here, 1, ABC, and then we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we go down to correct this, right? So I think what you are saying is what we've got from the bottom is our 1, A, B, C into the 2, and then we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3, and then we work on the 4 that we just completed here, and now we're working on the 5. So that is very possible. My initial count, to be completely upfront and honest, my initial count had this being the 5 and that we were done and we were going to correct from there. I obviously was wrong there. If we measure, let's go ahead and remove this measurement here, just get rid of some of the garbage that we've got here. If that is the case, we're going to measure from the bottom of the 2 to the top of the 3, right there. We found ourselves coming down to the 236. We didn't quite get down here to the 382. The algo target there, very similar. This takes us up to at least 11.9. Okay, so if this is the case, then basically what we're saying is we saw a 1, 2. This is the 3, 4 that we're working on, and then we go up to 11.9. One way or another, we're going to get to 11.9 or 12,000. If this is a 5-wave impulse, this is what we're looking at here. What I am trying to determine, okay, and this is really what has me really torn. Okay, so let's remove this guy. So if this is the case, did we just have a major correction completion? So if this is a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. So we've got 5 waves up. And then what do we have on our way down? We have an A, a B, and a C down. And then we get 5 waves back up for a correction. Is this still just a correction? And then we see a major move down. The upper gap goes to 11,920. All right, let's just take a look at that. BTC1, go to the daily, and let's take a look at this. Because obviously we have a pretty big gap that we should recognize. And if we have a gap up at 11,920, let's pay attention to that as well. So we'll wait for this to finish loading. Okay. It's taken its time. All right, so we've got a gap. Oh, we do have a gap right there. I actually have it outlined. It's at 11,945. That is a gap to pay attention to. All right, so let's go ahead and remove all of this. All right, so we can see here. Let's just zoom in on this guy right up here and see what we've got. All right, so do we actually have a gap up here? technically we have a gap all the way up here at 14,000. If you want to be technical about a gap, right? That gap did not fill. We have this guy that we do have to pay attention to. If you're interested in gaps, right? This gap has not been filled. Okay, but I think the gap that you are referring to is this gap right here. Okay, so we've got that gap to pay attention to, but I do want to acknowledge that we do have a gap right here. Technically, it's at 14,145, which is a futures adjusted price. So this is not spot prices by any means. Okay, we've got that. And then we've got this gap right here, which is going to be at 11,945. Now, keep in mind, all right, now this is real-time data. Right now, Bitcoin on CME is trading at 11,210. Bitcoin on, let me pull up this. Bitcoin and BitMEX is at 11,100. So there's about a $110 premium on this. So when I'm talking about 11,945, we're really talking about 11,850 or so. When we're talking about 14,145, we're really talking about 14K. I don't think we're going to get up here. I think that's a gap that will probably never fill. Okay, hold on. I mean on this particular move. All right, so we don't know if it will fill. I just don't think it's going to get up there, at least for the time being. This one likely will. This one probably will, because again, we're talking about a move to 11.9 or 12,000, which on CME that's going to translate to about 12,000 to 12,200. So I think that will be a candidate for filling this gap here. I don't think we're in the market to fill this gap right now. I really don't. I really don't think that's going to happen. But this one, I can definitely see that happening. So so we've got that. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. This big move right down here. When I'm taking a look at this, on a higher time frame, I still have to actually let me do this on BLX. On BLX, this goes back. We were talking about this inverted head and shoulders for a long time, and obviously we didn't come back down here. We just decided to just keep moving up. But let's take a look at this guy right here. That's going to be right there at 11. Yeah, this goes right up there to that particular point. But I don't see, I mean, maybe we do go up to 14K. Let me clear this all out. Pull out my fib tool. We're looking at BLX here. Try and get that as close as I can. Up to the top, down to the bottom. We went to the 618. Now we're sitting, we got rejected right at the, this is not live data, but it still includes the day from yesterday. We stopped here at the 50. So naturally this would be a place to see some resistance. So we can see that. What I have to pay attention to is the fact that this move is likely almost over and we're going to start a move down. And if that's the case, if we do start moving down from here, right? So if 11,000 breaks and then 10.8 breaks and we start to see just a continued downward move, again, I think we have to acknowledge the fact that we could start to see lower prices on Bitcoin. And those lower prices likely are going to take us back down to the double bottom. So that would really freak a lot of people out. I'm not going to be super bearish right now. I'm just saying, I'm acknowledging that that is a potential, right? That's all I'm saying. I'm acknowledging that there is potential for that. When I'm looking at this on a log scale, initially we rejected the 786. We still can get up here to the 786 again. It's very possible. We've seen double tops before. We saw double tops over here back in February of 2018. We've seen double tops before. We can see them again, and probably we will see some resistance there. But until we see a clear pivot and we start to see some support zones taken out, I'm not shorting. I'm not shorting. If anything, I'm going to be looking for dips for buying. Buy the support zones, which are our big support zone, and we can see it right here. Big support zone is going to be right here. This is now support. That's at 10,450. Okay, if we come down there, that's going to be support, right? It wouldn't surprise me to see like a major, like a wick down here, and I would expect that to get bought up pretty quick if we do happen to make that kind of a move. So just be careful with that. It's possible we see that move down before we see that last move up. Still looking at about 12K. Still looking at 12K. So you can buy 10.5 to 11 and plan to just get rid of it. Get rid of it at 12. That would be what I would be looking to do at this point, because there's no reason to be bearish when we just had an 11% candle on Bitcoin. Okay, we've seen big candles like this happen, and we've seen them get faded, but yeah, until we start to see fade, I'm still not going to be interested in shorting just quite yet. I could be wrong. I was wrong shorting on the way up. And I just don't want to get caught shorting again up here. I will be more than happy to wait and see what happens. All right, that's enough. I've talked for way too long, and I'm going to probably just end up rambling. So if this video did help you in any way, shape, or form, like, subscribe, share, all the good stuff. And if you want to be part of our Discord, just throw a comment in the YouTube chat. I'll be more than happy to send an invite out. But of course, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, a good night, and a good evening. So stay happy, stay healthy, and trade safe.